Fuck it, I'm gonna make a part 3. Uh, Basically, there's some question as to whether or not this motherfucker stabbed him first or shot him first. You know, I personally, like looking at it, I say, what she did was she shot him first. Now, maybe she lost possession of the gun somehow or whatever the case may be. But she shot him and he was stunned at a certain point somehow. And somehow or another, she went from fucking shooting a motherfucker to stabbing his ass. But what I found more interesting was like some of the reasoning behind it. So this is like how she went about killing him. Still. So she attacks him about 4 times. She thought he was still alive or something. So this goes over the motive. So like she thought she was gonna get, you know, him and he was leading her on, blah 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 blah. And maybe even took advantage of her mental ability and shit. But she staked her entire future on this dude. You know what I'm saying? So she went in there, you know, basically killing him. So he gave her like a glimpse of hope, right? So she had given up a 4-year relationship with her living boyfriend, her religion, her financial obligations, her single status, her multiple jobs, her house. She essentially gave up her entire being and banked her entire future on this dude. So she found herself living in a small room in her grandparents' house. And she's doing like what the fuck ever. So he found out that she was in his Facebook email accounts and found something out that he probably didn't want her to know, as in he's been using her the entire time. He doesn't really give a shit about her. He thinks that she's fucking crazy. Kind of like somebody we know that has been saying behind the things that the motherfucker's crazy to certain individuals, right? Certain people talk about this motherfucker being crazy, right? And then it talks about you know, she discovered that, you know, whatever. Then she decided to go over and give him one more chance. She had sex with him. And maybe she's going to give him another chance, or maybe she was thinking about it, you know, whether or not she was going to kill him or not. So then ultimately, at the end of the day, he said something that set her off, that reminded her of the reason why he was there, right? So then he's like, well, shit, okay, well, let me, so he said whatever, then she fucking pulls the gun on him or whatever in the shower. In my opinion, she pulled the gun first. She shoots the motherfucker and it doesn't really go into his brain or affect anything major. Causes an extraordinarily amount of pain where he's kind of like debilitated, so to speak. He's not really able to function or whatever. She comes back with a knife, she starts stabbing his ass, he fucking ends up at the sink, spitting up blood every fucking where. He's really fucked up at that point. Anyways, and then everything proceeds from there. But anyways, it kind of reminds you of somebody, if you know, somebody who hacks into accounts and shit and fucks with people and all that other kind of shit. That was kind of like my point. Mind you, Sara Bird, just saying.